Hello and welcome to the program. I'm your host, Neal Howard. Thank you for joining us here on Health Professional Radio. Our guest in studio today is Scott Spackey, certified addiction treatment counselor in private practice and author of the book Project Addiction, the complete guide to using, abusing, and recovering from drugs and behaviors. Here with us in studio today to discuss the drawbacks associated with one-size-fits-all facility treatment, addiction recovery plans, and how to help patients and providers choose customized recovery plans that offer effective long-term outcomes. Welcome to Health Professional Radio, Scott.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Neal.
You are a certified addiction treatment counselor, or a CATC. Talk a little bit about your background. How did you become a certified, or why did you become a certified addiction treatment counselor?
That's a great question, and it actually has, I think, a little bit of an inspiring story. I was lost and didn't know what to do. I started a construction company after I got clean and sober, and that was thriving. I mean, I was making great money, and I was doing well, and I felt completely unfulfilled. Mm-hmm. So I just didn't want to move on with it, and so I wanted to do something different. And I had this feeling, this calling to try to help people. And so of all things, I kind of randomly ran across a hypnotherapist. And I thought, well, that's what I want to do. I want to hypnotize people and help them solve their problems. And I was doing that for a while, and it was going okay. And I realized I'd kind of hit a ceiling, because I wasn't really making any more money than I thought I needed, and I wanted to live a comfortable life, of course, and be able to reach out and do more work. And of all things, I was randomly one day watching TV, and that intervention show came on, and I'm watching this, and it got so inspired. I'm like, oh my God, well, I could do that. I'm an addict. I have recovery experience. I know that better than just about anybody. And so in that moment, I decided to look into it, and I got online and I did some research and I found some colleges, et cetera, and what the process was to do it, and things changed from then on. Once I went through the education and the process and got certified with Brining Institute, within a month after advertising that I was providing treatment, I skyrocketed. I went from a handful of clients as a hypnotherapist and life coach to working 10 hours a day, 7 days a week, helping countless people, and it's been a very fulfilling experience, very fulfilling.
Now, in addition to all of that and more, you're an author, the author of Project Addiction, the complete guide to using, abusing, and recovering from drugs and behaviors. Why did you write this book, and who did you write it to?
Well, I wrote it partly to purge my soul and spirit, and also to help so many of the people that I would never actually get to meet as a counselor. I am also, as you mentioned, I think you mentioned, a recovering addict, and I was hardcore. I mean, I'm one of the worst that was out there. So when I was trying to get clean and recover and change my life around, I was very disappointed in what was available. I had no money and resources, but even if I had, those programs, even if there's nothing wrong with them, the bottom line is you have to have a program that's going to resonate with you. And as a private counselor, the greatest benefit of being a private counselor working with people is that I get to customize a plan that works specifically for them. They don't have to adapt to my plan. I have to adapt a plan to them. And I had tremendous success. And the more I did it and the longer I did it, I realized that, of course, with any career, you're going to hit kind of a burnout. It's a very taxing career. And eventually I was going to have to walk away from this. And I felt like I was going to abandon all these people, the entire planet, with such a pervasive pathology throughout the globe. And so the inspiration there was, I can't just walk away from this. I've got to be able to distill all of my knowledge and experience as an addict and as a counselor and be able to provide this to people. And so basically, Project Addiction is exactly that. It is me in a book. Everything that I know, everything that I do, all of the countless strategies that I have, which are very powerful, very innovative, they're all distilled into that book, so that when I'm gone and et cetera, that is there. And so basically, in a sense, I was hoping to create a kind of a one-stop shop, something that people can pick up and use, and it can solve these problems.
You've written this book and you say it's you in the book. It's basically your life. But you've got some critics of the book that say your descriptions of the drugs and the use are so detailed that they could tempt someone to try to use them. When someone poses that question to you, how do you respond?
Well, the first thing I point out is that I think in the first few pages is a warning. And the warning says that be careful reading something along the lines of be careful about reading the drug chapters because they are so intense, they are so visceral that it can cause cueing, or what we all commonly know as triggering behavior and thoughts. And so it advises you how to do that. And yes, indeed, the drug chapters, there's a separate chapter for each and every drug in that book. So it's not lumped together at all. And so when I wrote those chapters, I was very moved emotionally because I have personal experience with those. I'm not somebody that just dabbled. I did them all. And so I shot them, I ate them, I snorted them. And so I'm able to give that very firsthand, visceral account. And that's one of the, I guess you could say, skills that I have. I can be very expressive. And so once I get into that zone where I'm writing something, I pour it out. All the emotion comes out. And so it's not just that. And I think that it was very necessary to make it as authentic as it really is. Drugs and all kinds of addictive behaviors, the experience of them are very attractive, very alluring. They start off great, don't they? Everything does. You know, that first bite of chocolate cake feels great. We love it. But once you get 10 of them in you and you start eating it every day, then it's a problem. And so the drug chapters do exactly that. They tell it like it really is. Very enticing, very alluring, very inviting. And eventually they turn very sour. So by the time somebody gets done reading one of the drug chapters, it transforms. It goes into a very dark place. But it's not in your face. It's like the real thing. It's very subtle.
Now, being the real thing and such, in real life, oftentimes it's a physician, a caregiver, or a family member, or maybe a friend who's realized that someone has an addiction, and they're looking to help this person. Say you're a physician, and you know of a treatment plan, a facility treatment center. Why is it necessary to understand some of the drawbacks of treatment facilities and their methodology as one size fits all?
Yeah, it's important to understand every dynamic of everything that we're advising somebody to do, whether it's a pain medication from a doctor or a treatment facility, because again, what works for one may not work for another. And the worst thing that can happen, and happens so often, is that it can definitely get worse. And so when we apply the wrong treatment and in the wrong way to the wrong person, then we have a bad combination. There is a treatment that's going to work for that person, but it's not one who worked for Bill or Bob or Terry. It's going to be something that we have to be able to research and do the work, and we have to consider who they are, what their background is, what their capabilities are, intellectually, emotionally, spiritually, maybe. All of those things have to be factored in. And so again, that's what that book does, is it breaks down, it dissects all of the treatment options that are out there. And I've been criticized also about kind of being on the attack on some of these things, but I think the book does a very good job of pointing out both the ups and the downs, because ultimately, if we know what the downs are, if we know what the bad sides are, then we know how to avoid them, we know how to minimize them, and we can take the best parts out. It's kind of like if somebody gives me an orange. Well, I don't like to eat oranges, but inside that orange is orange juice. And if I know how to cut it and squeeze it, I can extract the essence of it for a life-giving, nourishing experience. And that's about treatment the same way. We have to know how to extract what it has. And if we know how to do that, then everything has something good in it. But we have to know how to do it.
Where can our listeners get a copy of Project Addiction, the complete guide to using, abusing, and recovering from drugs and behaviors?
It's currently available everywhere worldwide, anywhere that you buy books, sometimes in brick-and-mortar stores, but everywhere you buy books online, and it's in ebook, it's in print, and it's in audiobook too. Went to a lot of work to make it available in every format, because a lot of people don't respond to things in certain formats. My girlfriend, for example, she doesn't like to read. She likes the knowledge, but she doesn't like to read. So she was the inspiration behind the audiobook version of that. And I'll tell you, what surprised me is that there are more copies of that being sold throughout the world than any of the other versions that are there. And I'm very pleased with that.
Great.
So anywhere that you buy a book, anywhere that you go online to buy a book, you'll find it.
Great.
Type it in, and you can, of course, go to my website, projectaddiction.com, and there's links right there and all kinds of information. There's lots of free stuff there. As a matter of fact, I've got about I've got like a dozen chapters of the book there for your perusal in audio, in read, so you can read it, and also in video with me describing them and reading them.
We've been in studio with Scott Spackey, certified addiction treatment counselor in private practice and also author of the book Project Addiction, the complete guide to using, abusing, and recovering from drugs and behaviors. And he's been in studio discussing some of the drawbacks of one-size-fits-all addiction recovery plans and how to help patients and providers choose customized recovery plans that offer effective, long-term outcomes. It's been great having you in the studio with us, Scott.
It's been great being here. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Transcripts and audio of this program are available at healthprofessionalradio.com.au and also at hpr.fm. And you can subscribe to this podcast on iTunes.